Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet the regional president of Great Plains Bank. He's going to talk about how they're standing out in a very noisy market. That's just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, when it comes to banking, I can't think of a more competitive space than Dallas-Fort Worth, because it seems like there's a bank on every street corner. It's almost like a Starbucks. So how do you stand out in a crowded field? Chris Shah is here. He's the regional president for Great Plains Bank. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, you and I got to visit a little bit before the show. Great Plains Bank has a very rich history. It was started in 1907.
That's right. We're originally from Oklahoma. Our roots go back to 1907 in Hollis, Oklahoma, in western Oklahoma. And sort of for good 90 years, the bank sort of grew itself in the western Oklahoma markets. And then over the last 10, 15 years, we have started to grow our bank in the bigger markets within the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, and you were named regional president for Texas some 5 years ago. But you're not a newbie when it comes to banking. Talk a little bit about your history.
Yeah, so my career in banking really goes back to 1999. That's sort of where I started. I started off as a part-time teller while I was pursuing my undergraduate degree at UTA. And then over the years, I've worked in many different capacities. And that's sort of how I started in banking, yeah.
And I like that. I like leaders who have actually been in the trenches. When I was at Fox 4 here in Dallas, our news director used to be a reporter, so I could talk to her about stuff like this. So when you're asking the team to do something, it's not like you haven't already done it.
No, most definitely not. I mean, when you look at the employees in the branch in different positions, I've pretty much done it all over the years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I want to pull up your website and go down the homepage, because one of the things that you guys are passionate about is small businesses and making sure that your small business relationship is one that can go on for generations.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier in your intro that it's a very noisy market. There are lots of banks. In fact, it almost feels like it's at every corner. So it's important. How do you differentiate yourself from the competition? So, service is where sort of we feel like we are better than everybody else. And that's 5 years ago when we started our bank here in Texas. People have choices, and we didn't have any customer base at the time because we're brand new. So we sort of took the service as our anchor to sort of grow our brand and our business in the state of Texas.
Well, I think you're very wise, because a banking relationship is solid until that big bank tells you no. And then suddenly the small business owner says, look, I need cash.
Absolutely. I mean, look, when we were all hit by COVID in a big way in the U.S. in March of 2020, May PPP was announced. And you may remember, the big banks didn't have it figured out during the round one, right? And people quickly realized that the moment you need more than technology, the big banks are just no longer equipped to provide you that hands-on service anymore.
Sure.
And that's we sort of took advantage of that, and we spoke to many small businesses that needed the PPP funds pretty much overnight to run their business and to stay alive, and that's sort of we took advantage of that.
And being small and being nimble, it's the difference between a speedboat and an ocean liner, isn't it?
Most definitely. I mean, when you work with a smaller bank like ours, one of the advantages you have is that you have access to people. You can walk into a branch and you can sit down with the loan officer and the decision maker.
Yes.
And your underwriting and your the loans, the underwriting is all done locally. The decision making is all local.
Yes.
So yeah.
And you first came on my radar screen because of a wonderful article in the Dallas Business Journal, and they are our partners. They do their television show here. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen. And I love that headline, standing out in a noisy market. Did you feel pressure when you took over as regional president?
No, I think, at that point in my career where I was ready for this next challenge. I had been banking at the time for almost 17 years. So what I was looking for a challenge like the one I took on 5 years ago, which was to work with a bank that didn't have any presence in DFW and help them get started. And so I was very fortunate to meet with Mark Russell, who's our CEO, and then Terry Shelby, who was our president at the time. And we connected immediately, and we felt like we were the right team to get all of this started in the state of Texas. Our ideas and our vision matched up really well.
And in that wonderful DBJ article, they said that you're turning your customers into salespeople. Why don't you explain that?
As I mentioned earlier, 5 years ago when we started, we were faced with the challenge of how do we penetrate in this market? How do we become a known brand? And we one of the things that I mentioned earlier, we said, look, we are going to become a preferred bank for small businesses. And the way we're going to do that is we are going to give them the highest level of service they've ever received from any bank before. So over the last 5 years, that's what we have done. And that's been our success story. So now what we see is our clients and our customers, they're bringing their friends, they're bringing their relatives to come bank with us, and almost they've become our salespeople.
Sure, and I'm a big fan of your marketing because I watched several of your commercials on YouTube, and we put them together in a little sizzle reel. Let's go ahead and roll that.
I've always set goals in my life, and owning a home was at the top of my list. To have a place of my own means a lot to me. It's always been my dream. And now I'm here. I'm Joanna, a first-time homebuyer thanks to Great Plains Bank.
Owning a business has taught me to take care of my customers, and they in turn will take care of me. My name is Jim Rogers, owner of Sandstone Services. Trust is knowing that someone has your back. My experience with Great Plains, I trust them. I know if times get a little tight, I can rely on them. When times are good, we prosper together.
For over 100 years, my family's farmed this land. Bringing my son to the farm reminds me of when I was a boy, when my dad and granddad would bring me. Now it's my time. I'm Craig Clark, and I'm a sixth-generation farmer. In that same 100 years, Great Plains Bank has helped farmers like me. It's that friendship and partnership that make us greater together.
I applaud you because I was a storyteller in TV news for many years, and I got about a minute and a half to tell a story. Those are quick little 30-second stories, but they do a great job.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about your dream team, because you don't hire just anybody off the street. What kind of qualities do you look for?
One of the things that you quickly learn when you're in a business of providing great services, you cannot do it alone. You need a great team. You need a good group of people that are committed and sort of match the same intensity and the vision that you may have. So over the years, what we've done is that occasionally we've hired folks that are non-bankers and turned them into bankers because they brought other qualities with them that you can't really coach or teach. You have it or you don't.
Yes.
But we can teach them banking. So when we interview folks, we're very open-minded into meeting all sorts of people with different backgrounds and stuff. And that's been a big sort of win for us.
I like that philosophy because sometimes people can learn bad habits at another bank, and coming in with a fresh pair of eyes and energy
Absolutely.
is really important.
We also given folks chance to become leaders who have, so great bankers, but didn't have the leadership experience yet, because we felt like we could give them that chance because we felt like they were ready for it. And it's all of that has sort of become the reason why we have a fantastic team.
Outstanding. So we're almost out of time, Chris. Final thoughts. What would you like to leave the viewer with?
Look, we are a full-service bank with all sorts of commercial, business, and consumer products on the loan side and the deposit side. We have 4 branches here in North Texas, and we're growing. So call us, visit us at any of our branches. We are in Frisco, Las Colinas, South Lake, and North Fort Worth. Thank you.
Outstanding. Chris, you've been a great guest. We're going to have you back again soon. We'll end with the website, which is GP Bank. Okay?
Yes.
All right, let me do that again with some confidence. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Okay, we're gonna leave you with the website, which is gpbankok.com. The great Chris Shah. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.